everybody, and welcome to another ASMR video here on the channel. Now, even though we did a facts video just last week, I, for some reason, put down on the schedule to do another one today, but you guys always seem to really enjoy them, so I'm not really too sure why I started to post that as if I was going to apologise for it. But if there's one thing that I like more than watching a good movie, it is watching a good TV show. And I feel like I might have done a facts video either on TV shows ages ago, or did a movies and TV show facts, merged into one. But I thought tonight we'll just turn our attentions to strictly TV shows and run through some facts about the behind the scenes and making of some of the most popular shows ever. So hopefully you find it informative and relaxing, as always is the aim here on the channel. And without further ado, let's get into the facts. For the Euphoria Season 2 hot tub scene, they used a mixture of CGI and practical effects to make it look like Cassie was projectile vomiting everywhere. Sydney Sweeney told Hot Ones they had to get a pump, and they had this pipe and they just taped it and hid on my body, and then they CGI'd it out up my neck, and then there was a horse bit that I had to put in my mouth. Does that mean I say hose bit? So during that scene, they're filling my mouth with throw up. Delicious. For the Game of Thrones, Season 1, that is, scene where Daenerys eats a stallion heart, they made the heart out of solidified jam, but it tasted like bleach and raw pasta. Emilia Clarke ate roughly 28 hearts throughout filming. Another fact about the horse heart scene: Emilia was covered in so much sticky fake blood that when she used the bathroom, she got stuck to the toilet seat. While filming the Friends episode, the one where Ross got high, Matt LeBlanc accidentally ate some of David Schwimmer's regurgitated trifle, which was really bananas and whipped cream. On the Graham Norton show, Matt said there was too much on his plate, so he starts to eat it all and he starts laughing and we cut. We're cutting and he spits it back on his plate. I'm sitting right next to him and I'm looking the other way. I didn't see him spit it back on his plate. So I take his plate and I scrape some on my plate. We go again and now I'm eating it. We finish the take and no one says anything to me. That's pretty grim. I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here Series 19 contestant Jacqueline Josa told Lorraine that during the finale a spider peed in her mouth. She said it was awful. It was literally dripping in my mouth. Honestly, awful. Star Trek The Next Generation actor Jonathan Frakes told Entertainment Weekly that he once ate a live grub worm for an episode. While filming the cannibalism scene in Yellow Jacket Season 2, the actors had to eat fake human meat made out of rice paper and jackfruit. Sophie Nellis told BuzzFeed News, "We were pulling out the rice paper and it was all soggy. We were like, this is the grossest thing ever. It just tasted disgusting. It was so nasty that Samantha Hanratty vomited." Probably beats eating actual human though. While Boys cast was filming inside the Whale for season 2. It was 90 degrees outside and 120 degrees inside the Whale. And the blood, of course, was attracting all sorts of insects. Las Alonso told TV Guide, Jack Quaid and I would get stuck to the whale guts. When we were in there shooting our scene, at the end of the scene, we would have to get up and walk out of the whale. And there were a couple of takes where we would try to get up, but our bodies, literally our skin, was stuck to the whale because the sugar-coated red stuff would dry up during the scene. Good scene though. While The Last Man on Earth Season 1 was in production, they shot the scene where Carol eats beans in bed before her sex scene with Philip. After a bit of an internal struggle, actor Kristen Schaal told co-star Will Ford, "I'm gonna fart on you," and she did. When The Office actor Angela Kinsey filmed kissing scenes, her on-screen boyfriend, Rainn Wilson, was usually eating something disgusting right beforehand. On her Office Ladies podcast, Angela said, "And I'd be like, Rainn, dang it, do you have to eat a tuna fish sandwich right before we're supposed to kiss? Come on." That's disgusting. If I had to kiss a woman for a bar, I would be chewing gum like there was no tomorrow. A particularly emotional kiss scene in WandaVision resulted in what Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany have dubbed Snotgate. They were filming in the cold and one of their noses started running, getting snot on both of them, but neither of them will admit to being the culprit. Paul told Entertainment Weekly, "She'll tell you a crock of shit about whose snot it was. I know the truth, and people shouldn't be fooled by her story." Elizabeth replied, "When he has that makeup on, he can't really feel his leaking fluids anyway. Like, I can." And I was like, "You can't even tell you're snotting. I can. You can't feel your face because it's covered in paint." Bachelor in Paradise bartender Wells Adams told TV Line that the daybeds the cast members lounge on get wet and then inevitably get mouldy smelling. The Mad Men wardrobe department gave Alison Brie underwear that looked like biker shorts that go all the way up to your ribs, with a small hole for going to the bathroom. On the Life is Short podcast, she said, "I didn't know for the first season that you weren't supposed to wear underwear under them, because they are underwear. So I was rushing to set. Mad Men was my first real job, so I didn't ever want to be a problem person. I tried to pull the hole open, but I didn't pull my underwear to the side, so I'm peeing and not hearing it hit the bowl, and then I just feel warmth." She continued, "It was full pee. I just dabbed it with a bunch of toilet paper, because they're waiting on me. I'm not allowed to be that person here. I'm a recurring guest star. I don't want to lose my job." However, after a few takes, Janie Bryant, the costume designer, realised Alison was having issues and helped her get it sorted out. She also assured her that it wasn't the first time something like that had happened. One of the creators of Wings and Frasier lost his life on September 11th, 2001. The earliest days of must-see TV fell at the end of what was called the best night of television on television. Essentially Cheers, Frasier, Family Ties, The Cosby Show and Wings, among other programs. Wings and Frasier did air during the 1993 to 1994 season on must-see TV, but then moved to other nights. One of the creators of both Wings and Frasier was David Angel, who became a writer during the late 1970s. He thrived through the 1980s as a writer on Cheers. He then found success writing and producing shows like Wings and Frasier, and by the late 1990s and early 2000s, he was reportedly writing a book. David and his wife Lynn were aboard American Airlines Flight 11, the plane that was flown into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. Turk's phone number on Scrubs was a real number. There was an entire episode of Scrubs dedicated to Chris Turk, played by Donald Faison, getting a phone number. Everything about it had to be perfect, and when the digits came to light, the number was 916, call Turk. Once the number was out in the world and fans started calling it, the show, likely anticipating those calls, actually set up a cell phone with that number. Some fans heard Faison saying, "I couldn't get to the phone right now, but you've called Turk, and that's a great thing, I'll tell you that much." On another occasion, callers were greeted by a real person. When one lucky fan heard, "You've called Turk, Dr. Kelso speaking," he quickly ended the call. Steve Buscemi based his character on Mad About You on an actual run-in he had with Paul Reiser. During a first season episode of Mad About You, Steve Buscemi played a former classmate of Paul Buckman who blamed Buckman for his professional failures and was ultimately relegated to working at a subway toll booth. While the character laments Buckman's role in having to drop out of school, Buscemi was drawing upon a real-life experience he'd had with Reiser. The thing is, Reiser didn't even know it. On the last day of filming his role on Mad About You, Buscemi explained to Reiser how the whole storyline was kind of what happened with you and me. As Reiser recalled, he told me that one time he was about to go on stage at a club in New York, and I walked in and I sort of bumped him, which means taking his time slot, which I didn't know, and he was, I guess, flirting with the idea of giving it up, and that night thought, it's over. So I thought, geez, that's wild. Friends, Mad About You, and Seinfeld all exist in the same universe, with appearances on multiple programs in the must-see TV lineup. Lisa Kudrow was one of the links that connected the shows into the same universe. As twin sisters Phoebe and Ursula Buffet, Kudrow was on Mad About You and Friends, sometimes overlapping the two. Friends got the creators of Mad About You to give permission to link the two characters. This also allowed Mad About You stars like Helen Hunt to appear on Friends in 1995. The connections didn't stop there, however. Seinfeld was also connected, with Cosmo Kramer living in what was once the apartment of Paul Buckman from Mad About You. The show wasn't a spin-off of Seinfeld in any way, but having Paul Reiser on the former in 1992 did allow for a crossover event. These tie-ins never amounted to spin-offs until very late in the must-see TV run, with Matt LeBlanc heading up Joey when it debuted in 2005. Jason Lee from My Name is Earl was a professional skateboarder. Jason Lee's acting career started during the early 1990s. He found success in comedies and dramas alike through the early 2000s. In 2005, Lee took the part of Earl Hickey on My Name is Earl. Before any time on screen, however, Lee was, in his own words, just a skateboarder from Orange County who fell into acting because I like watching movies. The avid skateboarder founded Stereo Sound Agency with friend Chris Pastras in 1992. The brand is designed to foster creativity in the skateboarding world. They also put out 2 movies on skateboarding during the 90s. On the professional skateboard circuit, Lee is known for popularizing the 360 kickflip and pole jumps, among other tricks. In 2019, he was inducted into the Skateboarding Hall of Fame. Will and Grace is one of only 4 sitcoms in TV history where all lead main actors won Emmys. The role of Lowell Mather on Wings was written specifically for Thomas Hayden Church. Both the show creator and the lead actor in Boston Common actually went to college there. Boston Common was a relatively short-lived show in the must-see TV world, only airing for 2 seasons. The cast, headed by Anthony Clark and Traylor Howard, were in good hands when it came to the show's premise, however. The story revolved around Bridget, a handyman from a small town, arriving at Emerson College in Boston to spy on his sister, Wileen. Co-creators Max Muchnick and Clark were in familiar territory. Both had attended the real Emerson College. In fact, the school is home to the Max Muchnick Campus Center, which opened in 2006. The brevity of Boston Common was, for Muchnick, a way to get in the door at NBC. He was also one of the co-creators of Will and Grace. The Central Perk couch in Friends was found in a basement. The famous orange couch in Friends, a centerpiece of many memorable scenes, was actually discovered in the basement of the Warner Brothers studio. The piece of furniture was not specially made for the show, but serendipitously found and became an iconic symbol of the series. What a word, serendipitously. Serendipitous. It's not really a word that you commonly hear. It's kind of odd that this article has just dropped that in there, but the author clearly wanted to flex. The Simpsons has a consistently inconsistent set. In the animated world of The Simpsons, the layout of The Simpsons' house changes frequently. The inconsistency is intentional, designed to keep the focus on the characters and the story, rather than the setting. It's a creative choice that adds a unique dynamic to the show. I didn't know that. Game of Thrones used a real castle for Winterfell. The Stark family home Winterfell in Game of Thrones was filmed at Castle Ward in Northern Ireland. The production team chose this location for its authentic medieval architecture, which added realism and grandeur in the fictional world of Westeros. Breaking Bad had a rolling meth lab. The RV used as a meth lab in Breaking Bad was fully functional in terms of its layout and equipment. The attention to detail helped actors immerse themselves in their roles, making the scenes inside the RV more convincing. I love that. Stranger Things creates the 80s vibe with authentic decor. The set designers of Stranger Things go to great lengths to source authentic 80s decor and gadgets, from vintage wallpaper to period-appropriate technology. Every item on set helps to authentically recreate the era, contributing to the show's nostalgic appeal. Again, I feel like that's why practical is just always better. Mad Men offices were inspired by real 1960s ads. The sleek and stylish offices in Mad Men were inspired by actual advertisements from the 1960s. The production designers studied ads to capture the essence of the era's corporate culture, resulting in a set that feels both authentic and stylish. The Big Bang Theory had a functional elevator off-screen. While the broken elevator was a running joke in The Big Bang Theory, there was a fully functional elevator used off-screen for moving equipment and set pieces. The behind-the-scenes detail was key to the smooth operation of the show's production. Downton Abbey blends a real castle with studio sets. Downton Abbey is filmed at Highclere Castle, but not all scenes are shot on location. Some interior scenes are filmed on studio, seamlessly integrated with the real castle interiors to maintain the show's visual consistency. The office set included a real working office. The set of the office was designed as a real working office, complete with functioning computers and phones. The realistic setup allowed the actors to immerse themselves more deeply into their characters' office life. Yeah, I feel like that's part of the charm of the show, like when you can just see people, particularly in the earlier seasons, literally just working and doing their jobs. Gilmore Girls' town was inspired by a real village. The charming town of Stars Hollow in Gilmore Girls was inspired by the real village of Washington Depot, Connecticut. The show's creator visited the village and felt it captured the essence of a quaint New England town, leading to the creation of the fictional Stars Hollow. Lost used an aircraft set piece from a real plane. For the crash scenes in Lost, the production team used a decommissioned aircraft. This real set piece added authenticity to the crash site scenes, making them more impactful and believable. I've never watched Lost. I feel like that's the show that does everybody say the first season or first two seasons are amazing and then it just gets terrible. I don't know, let me know if you've seen it. The Seinfeld apartment changed sizes for different scenes. Jerry's apartment in Seinfeld was modified throughout the series, with walls that could be moved to accommodate different camera angles. This flexibility allowed for a variety of shots and scenes to be filmed in the same space. The Crown recreated Buckingham Palace interiors. For The Crown, the production team meticulously recreated the interiors of Buckingham Palace. The ambitious endeavour involved extensive research and craftsmanship to ensure the set accurately reflected the royal residence. Twin Peaks Diner is a real location. The diner in Twin Peaks is a real place called Tweed's Cafe in North Bend, Washington. cafe became famous thanks to the show and still operates, attracting fans of the series. Sex and the City used a brownstone facade for Carrie's apartment. Carrie Bradshaw's apartment in Sex and the City was filmed using the exterior of a brownstone in New York City. However, all interior scenes were shot on a studio set designed to replicate the inside of a New York brownstone. The Doctor Who TARDIS interior changed with technology. The interior of the TARDIS in Doctor Who has evolved over the years, reflecting changes in technology and design trends. Each iteration of the TARDIS interior mirrors the current era of the show, adding a dynamic element to the iconic time machine. I still haven't watched the latest series. I started it, but I didn't finish it. I will at some point, probably. The Frasier apartment was designed to reflect character. The apartment in Frasier was carefully designed to reflect the main character's personality and taste. The set included high-end furnishings and art, emphasizing Frasier's sophistication and cultural interests. And the final fact of this video: Sherlock used London locations for authenticity. The modern adaptation of Sherlock was filmed at various locations around London to capture the city's authentic vibe. The approach added a sense of realism to the show, grounding the fictional detective in a real-world setting. And that, my friends, was some whispered facts about TV shows. I really hope you did enjoy. I feel like there's probably a few cuts in this video. For some reason my stomach and throat are just making rather disgusting noises, but this is what happens when you've got the mic sensitivity up so high. It picks up all sorts of things.